No mother ever expects the day her child is born to turn into the beginning of her worst nightmare. The day that is supposed to bring joy, celebration, and love became the day this woman's entire life fell apart. And from that moment on, nothing was ever the same again. People who have seen this baby still struggle to find the right words to describe what they felt. Some stared in silence, some ran away in fear, others whispered cruel names behind her back. But for this mother, there was no running away, there was no escape. This baby was hers, and she was determined to protect it, no matter how painful life became. Meet Sylvaire, a baby many people cruelly called an alien, a baby others called a monster. But to his mother, Riberata, he was simply her child, her flesh and blood, her responsibility, and her greatest heartbreak. What happened to her is something most people would never believe unless they saw it with their own eyes. At first, even she could not believe it herself, but over time, shock turned into fear, and fear turned into constant worry. She worried every single day about the life of her baby, because what they were going through was simply too much for one person to carry. The day Sylvaire was born began like any other day. Riberata had already given birth to other children before, so pregnancy was nothing new to her. She expected a normal delivery, just like the others. Her husband was there with her. They had struggled financially, but they still shared love and hope for their future. When labor pains began, her husband rushed her to the hospital. She believed that everything would be fine. She believed that very soon she would hold another healthy baby in her arms. But when the baby finally came into the world, the room went silent. Doctors froze. Nurses stared. No one spoke for a few seconds that felt like hours. Something was wrong. The baby looked different, very different from what anyone expected. The doctors were shocked. Even the nurses stepped back in fear. But the moment that broke her heart forever was not the reaction of strangers. It was the reaction of her husband, the man who once promised to stand by her, the man who once called her his love, suddenly became someone she did not recognize. He looked at the baby once, and his face changed instantly. Without showing compassion, without asking questions, he turned to her and said words she will never forget. At first, she thought he was joking. She waited for him to laugh, to comfort her, to say he didn't mean it. But he didn't laugh. Instead, he turned around, walked out of the hospital, and never came back again. Just like that, she became a single mother, abandoned at her weakest moment, left alone to face a future she never imagined. Days passed, and she remained in the hospital with no support. People were afraid to even come close to her baby. Some whispered, others avoided her completely. Eventually, a kind stranger felt pity for her and offered to take her home. But even during that journey, she wrapped the baby in layers of clothes, hiding him from the eyes of others. Not because she was ashamed, but because she feared how people would react. Life at home became harder than she ever imagined. She had other children to care for, children who needed food, children who needed school fees, children who depended on her every single day. But now, she could not work. She could not leave the house freely. And worst of all, her baby's condition kept getting worse. Sylvaire cried constantly, day and night. The sound of his cries became the soundtrack of her life. As a mother, nothing hurt her more than hearing her baby cry and feeling completely helpless. She took him to the hospital again, hoping doctors would help. But when they saw the baby, they were just as shocked as before. It was a small hospital, and they did not have the equipment or specialists needed to understand his condition. They told her to go back home and wait. They promised they would call if they found any solution. Weeks turned into months. Months passed, but the call never came. She waited every single day, hoping her phone would ring, but it remained silent. Life in the city became more expensive and unbearable. With no help and no income, survival itself became a daily battle. Finally, she made a painful decision. She decided to leave the city and return to the village where she was born. She believed that maybe her parents, elders, or someone there could help her find answers. But the journey back was not easy. She did not even have enough money to transport all her children. With tears in her eyes, she made one of the hardest decisions of her life. She left her other children behind, not because she wanted to, but because she had no choice. They were young and poor, but they had to remain in the city while she traveled alone with Sylvaire. The journey felt endless. Along the way, people stared at her baby. Some screamed, others laughed cruelly. But she kept walking, she kept moving forward, because giving up was not an option. When she finally arrived at the village, her family saw the baby for the first time. The moment they looked at him, they broke into tears. They had never seen anything like it before. Still, they welcomed her. They listened to her story. They shared her pain. But their hearts were heavy because they were poor. They barely had enough food for themselves. Helping with medical treatment felt impossible. Some villagers even gave her shocking advice. They told her to end the baby's life, saying that he would only bring suffering and disappointment. But she refused. She refused because he was her child. No matter what others said, no matter how difficult life became, she chose love over fear. Today, she lives in that small village, still struggling to survive. Her cousin says watching her suffer has been heartbreaking. He wishes he could help, wishes he could find a job, wishes he could earn enough money to support treatment for the baby. But without education, finding work has been nearly impossible. Every day feels like a race against time.
No kumwogoshesha ku mutwe ngomba kurwana n'abamwogosha baramutinya ngo atabagwa.
Doctors have told them that if there is any chance to help Sylvaire, he must be taken abroad for specialized treatment. But traveling abroad requires money, money they simply do not have. So now, they wait, they hope, they pray. Riberata says the hardest part is watching her baby cry in pain, knowing she cannot fix it, knowing she cannot even understand what exactly is wrong. And yet, despite everything, she continues to fight, because that is what mothers do. They fight when everyone else gives up. They stand strong when the world turns its back. They choose love, even when love hurts.
Ndabatakambira nk'umubyeyi mumvurize umwana akire ajye mu nzira abe nk'abandi bana.
Life means different things to different people. For some, life is comfort and happiness. For others, life is struggle and survival. But what truly defines us is what we do when tragedy arrives. Do we turn away, or do we help? Do we judge, or do we show compassion? Because somewhere in a small village, there is a mother holding her baby, hoping that someone, somewhere, will hear her story and care enough to help. And maybe, just maybe, sharing stories like this can change lives.
Yagendeye imyaka 5 amvunaguye naho bene nyina bageraho bamuhunga ati ntago tukitayeho imiryango iramwanga aramvunagura ariko kubera kwihangana kwigise kiryana gutwara indamezi 9 biryana narihanganye ariko ndashima Imana no kuba yaragenze ahubwo ndasaba ngo bamuvuze akire.
If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel even a little bit of compassion, then don't keep it to yourself. Help this story reach more people. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss stories that matter. Like this video to show your support. Share this video with your friends and family so more people can see what this mother is going through. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts, your prayers, or your message of encouragement for this brave mother and her baby. And if you truly believe in supporting stories like this, consider joining our YouTube membership to help us continue bringing real-life stories that need to be heard. Because sometimes, the smallest action from one person can bring the biggest hope to someone else.